10 years ago, ICT was chosen as the main driver for our socio-economic transformation and for achieving our National Vision 2020. In doing so, we would leapfrog from a predominantly agriculture-based economy to a service-based economy powered by ICT.
What we've seen over the last 10 years is that Rwanda has grown by over 8% annually for the last 10 years. And so we are on track to become a middle-income status country, and RDB's role is to promote the private sector contribution to making Rwanda a middle-income status country by the year 2020.
Rwanda has chosen ICT as a key enabler and an engine of transformation for national economic development. And specifically, government has intervened in key sectors, for example, infrastructure development. There's been an investment by the government to have a nationwide optic fiber infrastructure.
Broadband is a key driver for socio-economic transformation, and what BSC is doing is actually to make it available everywhere in the country. We are spread all over the country. The nation, we have 30 districts. BSC is everywhere. Name it, the smallest location of the country, we are everywhere with the same level of infrastructure for all Rwandans. This is the network operation and control room of BSC. It is from here that we control the fiber infrastructure and the data center infrastructure to ensure that we provide the best customer experience.
Rwanda's business environment, according to the World Bank, has been the second most dynamic over the last 6 years. The World Bank has a tracking system where they see countries that are reforming the business environment and how they're doing that. And that is because we've been very bold in terms of the business environment reforms that we've done, and we've made lots of reforms, lots of changes. And because of that, what that has resulted in, Rwanda today is ranked the third most competitive African economy.
Our regulatory approach is really a participatory kind of process. We make sure that every regulation that we want to issue goes through a consultative process where all stakeholders give us their views before we initiate any regulation, and we make sure that at every stage before the approval by the regulatory board, the operators, consumers have been involved, and that's how we have been able to manage that participatory approach in terms of regulations.
As of today, Rwanda market has 3 GSM operators: MTN, Tigo, and Airtel. MTN Rwanda, as of today, we are talking about 69% market share, more than 3.2 million subscribers, which actually put us as leader in telecom business in Rwanda. And to be in such position and to maintain the leadership in telecom in Rwanda market give us more responsibility and more challenge actually in our business in order to keep our customers satisfied and happy with our network and with our services.
You will see in the coming year in Rwanda the development of value-added service, the software industry, the ISP industry. You'll see a lot of young people with innovation being able to access the market, because the barrier and the costs that were previously associated with that has been removed by both regulatory, investment, business environment. And that's why, as a private sector, we are organizing ourselves and looking at what we need to do in order to take advantage of all those opportunities.
Visa's whole approach to delivering financial services is through ICT infrastructure. So the reason that we're here in Rwanda is because it had that infrastructure for us to utilize. Now, reaching underserved customers requires new business models and potentially new technologies. But because of the groundwork and foundation that Rwanda has laid in terms of ICT connectivity, we're able to utilize mobile connectivity, basic landline infrastructure, things of that nature to reach populations that we haven't been able to reach before.
ICT buses are helping to bring ICT services to the citizens within rural areas of the country, again to help in terms of bringing ICT for development closer to the people and making it a reality. And essentially this is a bus with ICT computers connected to internet, and we deliver specific programs, training programs to rural people. This could be school-going children, could be local business people, local government people, women, different groups of people within the rural setting. And they move from sector to sector across the country, targeting areas where they do not have other forms of access to ICT services.
So the One Laptop Per Child program not only brings computers to schools, but it also brings electricity, it brings access to internet, to digital knowledge, e-books in the different communities in the rural area. So it's quite a challenging program in terms of having a lack of infrastructure in some of these areas. But it's also an opportunity where every school that we touch, we also bring to the community power, we're bringing access to digital knowledge for the communities, we're bringing a basic ICT understanding, not only for the kids, but also to the parents. We've covered already all districts in the country. We are now at the next administrative level of the country. We have 30 districts, and we are now looking at touching each sector. Each sector will have a school with laptops, so all kids in Rwanda, especially in the rural area, can benefit from this program.
The overall vision of our sector is to be able to provide excellent services to the public coming to get travel documents, that means Rwandans, and to foreigners who visit Rwanda through issuing visas and permits.
We've put in place a single platform where we automate workflows, we share documents electronically, we implement electronic forms, and everything is all in one single platform where the entire government is actually integrated.
So the concept is having a virtual office where anybody would apply to come to Rwanda, they get the visa within 3 days, wherever it will be. And it even shortens their distance to come to apply for the visas. It was made this more secure because you can be able to apply yourself for wherever you will be, and you can even track to understand, to be able to know exactly where the status of your application is. So a person feels secure to come to Rwanda, and the service is very efficient and makes Rwanda very, very, very competitive, especially in tourism and skills attraction.
The future plan of a smart ID card in Rwanda is, first of all, to get all services in one card, including the financial applications, which will allow the population to get their financial services in one card, and also to get their medical services in one card, and different applications related to online authentication in different public and private services.
The government has prioritized health sector as one of the key sectors, and we have implemented a number of key initiatives within the health sector. On the one hand, to help manage the sector effectively, but on the other, to also help the citizens in terms of accessing healthcare services. We've also done a number of other specific projects, whether at hospital level, at healthcare level, at the Ministry of Health level, to make sure the entire health sector is integrated and is able to track and monitor its own progress and deliver healthcare more efficiently to the citizens. In the effort to make ICT relevant for all the critical sectors for the economy, we have specifically implemented the eSoko platform for the agriculture sector. Essentially, the eSoko creates a link between a farmer and the market. And so it bridges that gap whereby the farmer is able to establish what is the actual price of his produce in different markets in the country. And then they are better equipped and informed so they can make decisions on pricing for their own produce. eSoko is a good example of an application that is helping bring ICT to the citizens, to the people in the rural areas. Rwanda's development agenda is a citizen-centric development agenda. And so as we implement ICT initiatives, we always strive to make sure that we're taking ICT to the citizens.
Carnegie Mellon University in Rwanda is a new graduate program in Rwanda. We're currently offering a master's in information technology, and our first class began this semester. We have 24 students. In the next 2 years, we'll be continuing to offer that master's, and then we will add a master's degree in electrical and computer engineering. RDB, the Rwanda Development Board, is the government organization that is overseeing Carnegie Mellon University in Rwanda and providing the facilities and the support that we need to develop our program here. We have very strong interactions with the IT division of Rwanda Development Board, and all of our working with them in strategic ways is aimed towards helping to develop an entire center of excellence in ICT as a regional resource in the area.
The overarching goal of the government is to position Rwanda as an ICT hub for the region. And for this to happen, we need to create an ecosystem where there is a vibrant ICT industry and a lot of innovations coming out of the ICT sector. And so, to that end, the government has created an innovation center. This is a specific space that has been created where ICT entrepreneurs get access to various resources. For example, expertise. They get to meet senior entrepreneurs who mentor the younger ones that are coming up. They get access to research and development resources. There's a strong linkage, for example, between the Innovation Center with Carnegie Mellon University and the other universities within the country, and also a strong linkage between all the upcoming ideas with the private sector, established companies and startup companies, to make sure that we can move from ideas to solutions and companies being created in the ICT sector.
Mobile money is one of our key services. And MTN Rwanda, considered not only in Rwanda, and considered globally, that one of the success stories we made in mobile money business and services. So far we have more than 500,000 subscribers on mobile money out of 3.2 million subscribers, and the usage is very high. I can say that we made big difference in people's life with mobile money services.
Visa fundamentally believes in the electronification of financial services. In cash-based economies like Rwanda, you don't get the benefit of efficiency from doing things electronically like you do in some other markets. So our whole intent when we came to Rwanda was to deliver financial services to mass market and underserved consumers through ICT foundations. Rwanda has done such a fantastic job of laying that foundation for us to utilize, whether or not it's through mobile networks, which is a fantastic way to reach a new market segment for Visa, or through other types of infrastructure that Rwanda has already implemented. We have a host of opportunities and a host of ways in which we can reach a new market segment through electronic financial services in Rwanda.
The government has actually set up Rwanda Development Board as a one-stop center. Specifically from ICT standpoint, we have actually put in place a software platform that helps facilitate investors in terms of registering their businesses. We've put together all the key services, for example, immigration services, revenue services, key services that any company would need. They do not have to move around different government departments. Everything is all found in one place here at the Rwanda Development Board.
Now, there's major investment that needed to be done in order to lower the cost of communication in Rwanda. So the government embarked on a multi-million dollar, more than $100 million investment in laying down fiber optic to cover all of Rwanda, more than 2,500 kilometers. The government of Rwanda has also, in order to lower significantly the cost of international bandwidth, both invested $10 million. So this brought the cost of international bandwidth down by a sixth. That means, let's say it was $700, now it's $120. What does it mean both for the telco and ISP, but as well for the citizen? Is that mean that more people can be connected, that more business can be connected, but also more innovation can happen.
We do recognize that investors want stability and predictability when they come to a country. Predictable also in terms of the costs that are associated to doing business in a country. And one of the assurances we give an investor is that they will not worry about corruption costs, which are normally unpredictable because you don't know how much corruption costs. So we assure them of that because over the years we've been able to fight corruption. We have no tolerance for corruption at all.
The future plans of ICT in Rwanda are first and foremost moving towards more and more integration as well as private sector development, and to ensure that ICT development is not just being done in government but is led by the private sector. And to that end, we have specifically identified 6 clusters, and these clusters are the ones we're focusing on. The first one is business process outsourcing. The second cluster is in the mobile application development space. Again, we're seeing the fastest growth in technology happening within the mobile area. The third area that we've also prioritized is the area of cloud computing. We realize that there's still a lot of gaps in terms of infrastructure, especially within organizations, and so we're promoting cloud computing as a faster way of being able to get ICT services being rolled out by overcoming the hurdle of having to have infrastructure within an organization to be able to have ICT services in place. Another area that we have also prioritized is IT education and training. The other 2 sectors we have prioritized, one is the IT security, and lastly, we have also prioritized the area of e-government.
RDB's vision is to continue to become a key driver for Rwanda's economy to modernize. Today we have developed a lot of modernization programs. For example, you can register a company online, you can get a visa to Rwanda online, you can do a lot of your services within Rwanda online, but we want to modernize the country more. For example, we want to become a cashless economy and use online transactions and payments as much as possible. So we are going to be central to modernizing our economy in order to become a service-based, modern, middle-income status country that Rwanda aspires to be.
Going forward, and we working with all the stakeholders, private sector, civil society, to make sure that we're all moving together.